What is up, everybody? This is Phil the Kaiju King from my collection room here in Greater Cincinnati, and as you can tell by my intro, I'm doing an overview review of the Prime One Studios gigantic series Gamera 1999. It is an absolutely awesome piece of vinyl. It is the vinyl statue, and I will bring him momentarily, but I wanted to start off. I usually don't do the box, but this box is absolutely amazing. I don't know if it's being picked up by all the camera, but it's absolutely amazing. It's a very nicely done box. It's big. It's probably a foot taller than Gamera, at least, the figure. I will bring forth Gamera now. I can't stress how heavy he is. Heavy vinyl figure. I weighed it with my bathroom scales at 27.8, but I don't know how accurate that was because he wasn't exactly sitting on there perfect, but it feels a lot heavier than that to me, but it's very solid chunk of vinyl. But as far as the packing of it, this box came in a bigger box that was lined with foam. Inside this box is a foam coffin that Gamera was in, so he was packed extremely well. Bravo to them with their packing. I got him with 0 damages. The box had a little bit of damage on the outside, the outer box, but he was absolutely fine. But this is the figure, the big gigantic figure, Gamera 1999, Prime One Studios. I bought it through Sideshow Collectibles. It was $4.99 for the figure, and then the shipping from California to here was $150, so the grand total was $649 and change, so basically $650 to purchase this thing. I was making payments all last year from late 2017 until late last year, monthly payments, and then the last monthly payment was supposed to be like in November/December time frame, and it never came about because of delay after delay. Every month this thing was delayed from like then until just in June here, and I finally got a email notice for final payment and shipping, and I was really excited about it, to say the least, but it was worth the wait. His details are amazing. As far as the movie goes, the Heisei Gamera movies are really awesome. They're on par with the Godzilla Heisei movies in my opinion. And the really shocking thing about these movies here is the amount of it portrays the casualties of the Japanese people dramatically much more than the Godzilla movies. I mean, it shows Gamera blasting this fire through a building and there's people in it. You can see people in it and you know they all died, and it shows a lot of human tragedy and deaths, I'm sure, as a result of Gamera's battles with the other kaiju. But it was really, that's the big difference as far as, to me, as far as these movies and Godzilla Heisei movies, was the amount of, you can just tell that the people were getting killed in these Gamera movies, but they were awesome. They are on par with the Heisei Godzilla movies. And this movie in particular was really good. It was a good fitting in to the series. And I read on online recently that they are going to possibly have a new Gamera movie coming out. It was on Facebook. I've read on the Godzilla groups and stuff, so that would be really awesome if that happens. As far as this figure goes, it's really detailed figure. From his claws and his toenails, his claws on his feet are really dull yellowish, more yellow than white, and at the base of the claw it's brown into the skin. His claws on his hands here are very sharp, and they're more of a lighter colored, dull white and brown at the base of the nail at the skin. His legs are nice and thick and chunky, and the skin has got good wrinkle detail in it, all up through there, all up to his thighs. It's very nicely detailed. Everything's nice. Details abound on this figure. Here in his midsection in the abdomen, you can see the wound that happened in the movie to Gamera. It is a puncture wound, and it goes back through his shell on his back. It's in an upward position when Iris stabbed him with the claw type weapon of hers. And in the wound there's some green blood coming out, and it's green inside, signifying Gamera's green blood. And on the back here, the shell area, there's some green in there for the blood. And also the shell is cracked at the bottom here, and then on this upper plate above it there's a damage from the wound. So the detail is really cool on it. Really nicely done figure. On the hands, the scales and stuff on the hands and the fingers, it's really detailed. And the wrinkles in the arms go all the way up on his arms. And his neck, and on the side of his neck, nice wrinkling, nice detail wrinkling for the suit and for Gamera's skin. Up here on his head, of course, we have his trademark giant side fangs that stick out. That's Gamera's trademark. They're nicely done. His teeth are individually sculpted. Nice sculpting of the tongue in the mouth. The inner mouth is a reddish pink. Very nicely done. He has the little fin on top of his head. This really signifies the 99 Gamera, because it starts off at the base of his nose, is little, and it gets big as it gets up on top of his head, this little fin row, and then it goes small again to his shell. But the 99 Gamera, this is really pronounced on him, and it really makes him stick out from the Heisei Gameras, in my opinion. But his eyes are really nicely done. The pupils are a black, just straight black, and the white of the eyes has a slight green tinge to them, in my opinion. The shell, the tail is a nice thick tail. About halfway up the tail, you start seeing the scales that form to his shell. Nicely detailed and done. The shell is super duper depth, I think. There's a lot of depth to it from the top to the bottom. Very nicely done on both sides of his shell. Very nice details, depth. The way that it's sculpted, it just portrays depth, in my opinion, on his shell. Of course, you got the wound here on the back that signifies the battle with Iris. The wound that Iris gave him, he totally impaled him. But everything about this figure is really nicely done. It was worth the wait in my conclusion. I know it got delayed, and there was a bunch of frustration there with the delay, but it really is a nice figure. Also on the back of the legs here, there's those nice claws sticking out. Also on the arms here, the claws. It's a very suit accurate figure, in my opinion. It's very nicely done. The depth, the details, everything scaled nicely on him, I think. Can't go wrong with this figure. But I cannot stress how heavy this figure truly is. It's really a heavy figure. Anybody that's got it coming or that has it on order, you will be very pleasantly surprised, in my opinion, because this thing is top notch all the way. Also on the bottom of his feet, in my intro video, there's a picture, but it says, one of them says G3. The other one it's a limited edition number. This one is number 196. That's also on the box, a sticker on the box. I will do a few size comparisons, and then at the ending of my video, I will have pictures of the size comparisons of every gigantic I have in my collection. start off with, we will do my favorite gigantic, we will start off with the X Plus Gigantic Godzilla 1962. Alrighty, I'm back everybody. Here is the X Plus Gigantic Series Godzilla 62. My favorite X Plus Gigantic, it's the standard. Here's a straight up to the camera view of them. And here's a face-to-face with Gamera. They size up fairly well in my opinion. Let's see, next I will bring forth the Gigantic Series Godzilla 1989. Alright everybody, I'm back, and now I have the X Plus Gigantic Series Godzilla 89 recently released. This is the Rick version. Here's a straight up to the camera. Here's a face-to-face, and actually as you can tell the X Plus 89 has him by probably an inch maybe on height wise. So Gamera is not bigger than every figure in the collection. Alrighty, next we will do the Gigantic Series Godzilla 1995, or the Burning Godzilla. Alright everybody, I'm back, and I have the X Plus Gigantic Series Burning Godzilla, Godzilla 1995. I'm going to do a face-to-face here. This Gamera pairs well with the Gigantics in my collection, I think. Alrighty, next we will do a couple of my custom figures from my collection. Alrighty, I'm back, and now I have my custom Gigantic Godzilla 1984 holding the reactor. Little face-to-face action here. Alrighty, next up we will have the custom Gigantic Godzilla 1975. Alright everybody, I'm back, and I have my custom Gigantic Godzilla 1975 holding Mechagodzilla's head. Look awesome together. Alright, for my final size comparison, I'll probably bring forth the biggest figure in my collection. Alright everybody, I'm back, and I basically brought forth two figures to close out my size comparisons. This is my Gigantic Kong 17 and my Gigantic Skullcrawler, Gigantic Ramarak, as he's known in the final battle of the film. These are both customs, and they look awesome with the old Gamera here. Try to do a face-to-face without knocking something off here. Let me move the Skullcrawler. This Kong is the biggest one in my collection. Here's Gamera face to face with the Skullcrawler Ramarak. Alrighty, everybody. I will be back momentarily to closing comments, and I'll be right with you. Hold on just momentarily. Alright, everybody, I'm back. In closing, regarding this figure and the film is awesome. All three of them in the Heisei area are awesome. Regarding this figure, detail is an understatement for this figure, in my opinion. From his feet to his legs to his abdomen to the detail with the wound, his arms, the wrinkles on his skin, the texture, the detail with the nails and the toenails, the shell especially. The shell is amazing. The wound on the shell that protrudes in an upward position from his abdomen out the back of his shell, all the way up to the expression and his face and his teeth and his big fangs that stick out as signature fangs. Everything about this figure screams excellence in every way, shape, and form. I've said it already 2 times, but this thing is a massively heavy figure. Absolutely a massive, massive beast, to be sure. I highly recommend this thing. I don't know if there's any even still available. I have no idea, but this is the vinyl. I can't even imagine what the resin one weighs. It's probably absurd. So I'm actually glad I ended up with the vinyl, and I'm sure the resin one is even more detailed than this. So, but this is absolutely fantastic, fantastic figure. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad I got it. It makes me want and look forward to the Kong versus Skullcrawler statue next year. But that one is resin. There is no vinyl, so it's going to be a really heavy thing because it's a combo sculpt. But I highly recommend this, and anybody that's waiting on it, you will be happy when you get it. I will close my video with a close-up of this guy and bring the camera closer for a good look. And I appreciate everyone's time and watching. And this is Phil, the Kaiju King, from my collection room in Greater Cincinnati. And me and Gamera say you all have a good day.